Instagram stories for Monday, October 7th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. We're going to get into the Mosseri Monday questions and answers, but before we do, there's some really big news that's important to know. YouTube is expanding the limits on creator shorts from 60 seconds up to 3 minutes. You're probably wondering, why is this such a big deal? Well, it's really annoying if you make a reel that is 1 minute and 5 seconds. You can post it to TikTok, you can post it to Instagram, and you can't post it to YouTube Shorts because it is longer than 60 seconds. I've been there and I do not like that experience. The YouTube account Creator Insider had a video all about the changes. Here's a clip.
What's up, insiders? We asked for your feedback in one of our previous videos, and across the board, we've heard that creators would like to be able to post longer shorts. We're excited to announce that we're providing more opportunity for creators to express themselves within shorts and for users to enjoy longer content within the shorts feed. So we're expanding shorts duration up to 3 minutes. Today, we want to talk about a few things creators should keep in mind when thinking about longer shorts and answer some questions we think creators may have. First, there are no changes to shorts that are 60 seconds or less. Secondly, videos that are up to 3 minutes in duration and square or taller in aspect ratio that are uploaded to YouTube prior to October 15th will remain unchanged. Thirdly, starting October 15th, 2024, all videos uploaded in square or taller aspect ratio and up to 3 minutes will be treated as shorts. These changes will take a few weeks to roll out, so they may first appear as long-form videos until the changes fully launch. Fourth, shorts over 60 seconds that contain copyrighted content will be blocked. This means the video will not be playable or recommended on the platform. There are no penalties to your channel if this happens. However, if you wish to remove this content from your video, you can follow the instructions in the description.
If you are someone who spends considerable time focused on your YouTube strategy, you're going to want to check out the rest of that video. She explains the nuances around monetization, music on shorts, and so forth. I will link to it in the show notes so that you can check it out. Next, there's some big Facebook news that I want to talk about. Again, we will get to the Adam Mosseri Ask Me Anything, I promise. But first, Facebook hosted a pop-up event in Austin on Friday, and they talked about some new features specifically aimed at Gen Z to be more involved on Facebook. The two things that they announced I'm not interested in is a new local tab, which pulls together the best content locally across Reels, Marketplace, groups, and events. Not interested in that. That's not very exciting. A new Explore tab on Facebook, also not interested in that either. But here's the part I think you should really care about: events. Facebook launched a new feature that allows event creators to invite their Instagram followers to Facebook events. Prior to this, if you wanted to make a Facebook event, you could only invite people on Facebook, and not everyone is on Facebook. I love this concept. Facebook events are also expanding to allow SMS and email invites to guests, which means everyone can RSVP to a Facebook event, whether they are on Facebook or not. Additionally, Facebook introduced a weekly events digest feature to make it easier to discover local events. Overall, I think this is a very interesting concept. If you have ever tried to plan an event and invite people, it is hard to get everyone's phone number or email address, figure out what platform you're going to use, make sure that people don't have to install an app, or if they get a text message, they don't think it's spam. There's so many things that go into this. So if you are planning an event and it is able to be planned using people's Instagram profiles, I think that's going to make it so much easier. Okay, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, I promise we will do the Adam Mosseri Ask Me Anything. Stay tuned. Oh, hey, welcome back. Let's dive into some clips from Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram. First, he shared a clip talking about the importance of the first 3 seconds of a reel. In those first few seconds, you need to do something to hook the people who are watching so that they want to watch the rest of the video. Here's a clip of him explaining a strategy on how to do that.
The first 3 seconds of a reel are super important. We call this the hook. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to bait the user or have a cliffhanger, but you do need to get the user's attention, because as they're scrolling through feed, you have a brief moment where you might actually get them invested in hearing what else you have to say. A couple of things I recommend. One, use text when possible, because a lot of times people actually have the sound off to start. And two, set expectations. Let people know what you're going to talk about so they know if they are interested in viewing a bit further. Try this out. Let me know. There's different ways of creating hooks, and hopefully if you experiment enough, you'll find it'll help you reach. Let me know below in the comments what you think. Peace.
He makes a lot of great points in that video. The importance of text cannot be underestimated because often people are not watching with the sound on, they don't have their earbuds in, whatever. They're watching next to a sleeping spouse. So if you do use text or captions, this way they have an idea of what they're getting into. I think that's a very smart way to do it. Okay, let's dive into the questions. The first, are you finding that more and more creators are switching to horizontal format? Horizontal format is not really native to Instagram at all. When pictures are posted in portrait form, they can fill a lot of the screen, potentially all of the screen, and that's what you would want. So this way it is a more immersive experience for people. Here's Adam's answer to the question, if more and more creators are switching to horizontal.
At a macro level, no. There's definitely a trend right now, particularly actually a little bit more on the photo side than the video side, that where we've seen people go to throwback cameras, retro cameras that are landscape, 4x3, that sort of thing. But overall, the vast majority of content on Instagram, both photos and videos, is portrait at this point. It is well less than 10% that is actually horizontal still. So there's definitely a trend, but it's small and more on the edges. But it is a thing that we are seeing, just not really changing the overall picture for Instagram.
The next question has to do with creator fatigue, and this is something I can totally relate to. Do you have advice for creator fatigue? I will just say that if you create content with any kind of regularity, when you tell others you create content and you say what platform you spend most of your time on, for instance, I spend most of my time podcasting, people automatically assume that you are everywhere creating content all the time. So when I say I have a podcast, people always say, oh, and are you on YouTube as well? No, I create podcast episodes. I make Instagram videos. I have them on TikTok. Like I can't do I'm only one person. This creator fatigue is a real thing.
Creator fatigue is real. It can be exhausting to try to create content on a regular basis and forever. So a couple different things to consider. One is figure out ways to make it easier. One of the things I strongly encourage creators to do is come up with a pattern. What are the things you do? I do AMAs on Fridays. I do a creator spotlight every other week. I do at least one video a week. And my default is to give some advice. That takes some of the work out because I kind of not starting with a totally blank slate every time. What are the series that are relevant for you, that are aligned with your long-term goals, but also people are going to find interesting? But also, sometimes you just need to take a break, and that's okay. If you are just exhausted and you need to step away for a while, step away for a while. It might give you some fresh perspective and some fresh energy for if and when you come back. There's nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes it's necessary.
You know what's the hardest part of what he said is if you are not getting any revenue from that work and you're doing it just for a hobby, it can quickly become an overwhelming thing that isn't really a fun hobby anymore because there are so many expectations around it. You've committed to doing X number of posts per week, whatever it is, in whatever format you want to do. And I think taking a break, like he said, is very powerful. However, my personal fear is that I will take a break and then just never come back. And I don't think that's fair either. So it is hard to find the right time. For me personally, I've tried to not create new podcast episodes while I'm on vacation and instead queue up an interview or something else. So this way I have the opportunity to relax and unplug a little bit to recharge. And the last question we're going to talk about, how often should I change up my content approach? Growth is stalling.
It depends on you, but I think that if you're seeing your growth stall, it's definitely a reasonable time to evaluate the different things you do and see where you can double down on what's working, move away from what doesn't, and maybe try some new things. For me, I did that last year. In December and November, my followership was going down, my reach was going down, so I reevaluated things. I came up with a different way to do creator spotlights. I started posting more shareable advice. Started doing myth busting as well, and things turned around. But I assume things will again get stale if I don't continue to evolve. And so evolving on some regular cadence, I think, is a healthy thing, though it does take time and energy.
That was a vague answer. I would say retool once a year. That's a good enough amount of time. I mean, we've been on Instagram for 10 years at this point? Retooling once a year, I think, is perfectly reasonable if you're not experiencing the growth you want. That is going to do it for today's episode. As always, thank you for listening. If you have a moment, please leave a review of the show. I would greatly appreciate it. And you will get a shout out for leaving me a review.
Let me tell you a couple things that you should know about me. A product manager, but do not have a bachelor's degree. But actually, that's factually a fraction of me. And other fractions posting content irregular and irrationally. Still probably won't get a job at the Gram. They forgot, they don't know, or don't care who I am. That's why you never see me at the parties and events. My lack of followers must make me irrelevant. Don't have a course of book to sell to make a bag of grand. Not a social media marketer, don't represent any brands. Plain to see, don't have an agency, but I got a lot of spam. Just putting in my work without the glitz and glam. Won't catch me eating fish unless it's shrimp or clam. No six pack, no risk that there's a gym card in my hand. Don't have a full-time job, but I got a lot of plans. Stay plotting, dropping knowledge on TikTok and Instagram.